Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. My guest today is Chad Craig. And Chad is an elementary music teacher and percussionist. And let me bring him on. Hi, Chad.
Hey Janet, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing great, doing great.
Happy New
Listen,
Year
thank
if I
you for
forget.
joining me.
Happy New Year if I forget.
That's right, that's right. Yes, Happy New Year. I just can't believe a new year. Is upon us, is upon us. Wow. Time is going by fast, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Chad, just tell us a little bit about yourself and
Okay,
how maybe you got into drumming.
okay. I will try to keep this quick. This way. I've been teaching elementary music for 29 years here in Collier County.
Wow.
So that's the Naples area. There's a small town called Immokalee where I started, which is still in the same county. That's a different story. That's what I've been doing. I've got into other things that I'll talk to you about later, but I took piano lessons like a lot of kids and was no prodigy. And then when I signed up for band in my little school in Indiana. And shout out to my band director, Mr. Dave Knott. He's a legend there. Small town, was a father figure to many of us, even though he didn't know it.
Mm.
Signed up for band, started playing snare drum. And they're like, "Wow, you're really good at this." And I'm like, "Wow, I just have to read one line. I don't have to worry about all the notes. Like this is simple." And it just
Simple.
clicked with my brain. And then I just kept drumming all through, and I had the same band director, jazz band. And again, many people have the same story of going in the Midwest, and that's why music is so important. Teaches us so many things, how to get along, builds community. Anyway, then I wanted to go to Indiana University, because who doesn't want to go to Indiana University when you grow up in Indiana? Well, some Purdue fans apparently. But anyway, um, um, I auditioned because I wanted to go there, and it's there's 3,000 students at that time in the School of Music,
Wow.
and I was the best at my high school. Yay me!
Oh,
But yeah, but no one cares when you're. I had to audition, and I didn't get in my first time. So
oh.
this is one of many times that the Lord has humbled me. Believe me.
Mm.
So I had to take a step back and realize I wasn't as good as what I thought, and I started started taking lessons with other students that were getting their masters, and they knew exactly what I needed. I re-auditioned. I got in, got my music degree. The rest is history. And then I ended up getting my master's and starting at SUNY Fredonia. There was a professor there named Kay Stonefelt, and
Mm.
she got me into the African drumming. One of the classes she would bring in
Ooh,
private scholars from
nice.
Ghana, and I would
Ooh.
drum. And then before I forget, while I was at Indiana University, I ended up studying with a guy named Kenny Aronoff, who was John Mellencamp's drummer. So
Oh,
not to
yeah.
not
Ooh.
to drop names, but and we're not best of friends by any means, but I'll send him videos of my kids playing, and he'll record when he's going on
Oh,
tour. And he's still a rock and roll legend. And it was a blessing to be able to study with him, and I can go on and on. And
that's awesome.
we'll talk about world music drumming later. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Oh, no. Yeah. Wow. Well, that is amazing. And is there a drum that you can maybe do a little bit of drumming for us, Chad? Just
Yes.
a little bit?
Okay. And just like my history of me drumming, I have to make this quick. Okay. I can just go on and on. Um, okay. This, what I what I want to show you is the different types of drums and how they are made.
Yes, please do.
So this is called a pun logo,
That's
and,
beautiful.
and there's carvings in it. And the way this
Yeah.
drum works is, if you want to tighten the drum, you get a hammer or a bell, and you start hitting these. Therefore, it makes the drum head tighter, and then the pitch goes up.
Right.
Now,
Right.
if you want to loosen it, you have to go. Actually, I found this out this summer because a master drummer that I get to hang out with in the summertime from Ghana, he teaches at McAllister College in
Wow.
Twin Cities. He's in world music drumming. Again, we'll get there later. But he changed my head after many years, and I didn't even think about it. But you go on the inside of the drum, and you knock the pegs out with a stick.
Oh,
Yeah, see
my
all
goodness.
these things. So this is how this one sounds. It's not very loud. Sorry if that's
Right.
loud over the
Yeah.
internet. And then
That's a beautiful drum, Chad. Gracious.
So 3 more drums quickly. This.
Oh, that's nice too. Oh,
This is metal.
metal.
Yes. Yes. So
Wow.
this would be from the Middle East. So Turkey, around there. I am not an expert on this drum. And
Okay.
all of these drums have different techniques.
Okay.
So I still try to do my best of researching on how to play it, and sometimes it'll work, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't grow up playing these instruments like some people did. Again,
Right.
they have their different techniques, and some people once again think that they can just hit a drum, but there are different techniques. Okay, so this is called we call this a doom beck because of the onomatopoeia. Doom beck.
Oh.
Okay, but the real name, that's more of a Western name for it. The real name is called a darbuka. So,
wow.
all right. So I don't know if you can see this, but your left hand actually hits it like this.
Yep. Yep. I can see that.
So this still hits in the middle. So you won't see it, but it's okay.
Has a different, and it's a little louder than the other one too.
Yeah, I'm closer to the mic, and it depends on the frequency too. Some of them
I see.
through. Anyway,
Okay.
2 more.
My goodness.
Now, this is a box. Okay, so everybody has seen these box drums, and there's been a lot of money made in the percussion world selling boxes.
Wow.
Now this one sits in my lap because let's just say I would the authentic, more traditional ones, you sit on it and you lean over it. Let's just say it was hurting my back after years of playing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a funny story because I didn't realize I would have a gig where I would use it on Friday, and then Sunday my back would be messed up. It took me about a year.
Oh, yes.
It's because I'm playing.
I can see how that would happen. Yeah. Yes.
So my wife bought this one, and it sits on your lap. Let me see.
Ah.
So you have this, and this is kind of like the bass hole.
Right.
So you have a bass, then you have a snare. So
yes.
Sorry if that's loud, but you.
Wow, no, that's amazing.
And then I can't get this.
Slap drum, it says, yes.
It's called a slap drum,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't see it, but there's actually a snare on this hand, so it vibrates a little bit.
I see. Interesting. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Now I've seen those, and in our praise band at church has one. Yes.
Absolutely. And it's more, they probably use it during an acoustic set, of course, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And they're fantastic. Now the tradition of those, some people say Peru, or some people would say Cuba, any place where they were unloading ships, and they would be sitting on crates, playing the African drums that they remembered.
Interesting.
And making music. So that's, again, the tradition goes back to
Wow.
people sitting around waiting for the next ship to come in on Christmas,
Right. Wow.
which I think is amazing.
Interesting.
Here's my last one. This is actually pretty heavy. This is called a djembe, and this one is from Guinea. And if you look close,
Another beautiful drum. Gracious. Yeah.
that's recycled tire.
Oh, really?
This is rubber. So
Ah, I see.
when you put it on the ground, it won't hurt, it won't scratch the floor.
Right.
So they
Right.
use recycled tires.
Good idea.
Now, just like the first drum I showed you, it had the pegs that you hit in to
Hmm.
the head. This one you have to find the end of a rope, and you tie a certain knot and you squeeze it, and it flips these around.
I see. Yeah.
You see
Hmm.
how those are flipped, and these are
Yeah.
not. So it
How
flips
about
it
that?
and makes the rope tighter. The head goes lower. I mean, the head gets tighter, the pitch goes higher. So
Right.
this one's great, and this is a Woola drum. Shout out to my Woola peeps
Little
from
drum.
Guinea who live in New York. And
Yep.
this is a very loud drum, and apparently they made it loud so you could communicate um, communicate with almost your military.
Wow.
So it needed to be able to travel. Again, that's
I
where
see.
I
Ooh.
all right.
Wow. Well, we have all had a lesson in drumming. It sounds like, my
So,
goodness.
so much.
Oh, oh my. Well, now you've been a staff member of World Music Drumming since 2008. Now, what is World Music Drumming and how does it benefit students?
Thank you for asking. So a guy named Will Schmid, who um, he was this college professor. He actually, I think, still has the um, number one curriculum for guitar in Hal Leonard. So he was a music educator, not some sort of world class guitarist, but he figured out, and he was a great guitarist, but he figured out how to teach and put it in a book form so people who aren't guitarists could play it. So he just was always a good teacher. And
Mm,
then what he was trying to struggle with is what's happening to all of these kids that go to middle school and don't sign up for band or orchestra or chorus. Because when you think of any middle school, some of those numbers might be 30%, 40%
mm,
of kids that sign up for those, and those are great. But there's
wow.
still, to pick a number, 40%, 50% of kids that aren't in music necessarily.
Right.
So he came up with a curriculum. He studied with a master drummer, wrote out, and he would travel once he figured out how to write these different, you know, basically studying African rhythms and how they work together. He would travel, and when he would travel around, he would just pick up certain songs, and then he would write out different ensembles. So he put it all together in 1996. That's when it came out, and that was the first edition of World Music Drumming, and it's seven different units, talking about seven different types of musical cultures.
Oh
And
my.
the great thing is it takes on it's about learning things orally instead of just, here's a piece of paper, and that's not how most of the world works.
Hmm.
So, and it builds teamwork, it builds community because the kids have to listen, and the kids get, let's just say this is so great because this first unit I did with, I don't know if you'll bring this up, but I brought this up with my widow and widowers luncheons that I do because I'm a deacon. We might get to that later. It's been a while,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I brought my drums in, and I do this it works for 7-year-olds or 77-year-olds, it works no matter who you are.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we echo. So I play, you play, and then I ask them a question. First question is, "What's your name?" So they say their name, and they play it. And you would not believe even fifth graders want me to go and do that because they
Oh.
they don't get to be featured even for a second sometimes
Mhm.
during the day.
Right. Right.
Just saying their name and everybody stopping, and we take turns because it's rude to go over when someone else is speaking. So it sounds simple, but so many things are being taught. So the first question is, "What's your name?" The second one is, "What's for dinner?" Which is, and then so they have to say their favorite restaurant or their favorite place to eat, which is funny to
Mm.
me because I teach at a school where my kids can afford to go out to nice places,
Right.
some of them.
Right.
So I'll say, "What's for dinner?" And they will say this place that even I can't afford. So then it's not very funny real quick. That was a joke. But uh, or they'll say filet mignon. I'm like, "You're 7. How do you even know what a filet mignon is?" But anyway, uh, we, we go around, and then the last one, I play, and then they have this amount of time for them to play whatever they want. So they don't even know it, but they are starting to improvise. So this is just on unit 1, building skills that you take this, and then it keeps taking those skills to different levels and learning some pretty
Right.
good rhythms from around the world. Uh,
Right.
a shout out to my boss, Patty Bourne. She runs it now, and she's like a big, and she will tell you this. She's a big cheerleader for the staff, and she gets everything organized. She's a great teacher. She's a great drummer,
Wonderful.
and shout out to her. And in 2000, so I took it as a student. Then we'll be done with this section because I could go on and on. 2006, I took it as a student, and it's more than just reading the notes because I had the book, but I took it as a student. And then in 2006, 2008, Will asked me to join staff. So the
How
staff,
about that?
so so there's a curriculum, but we
Uh-huh.
go around and we teach elementary. So I mentioned middle school. That's what Will originally thought, and that still is the case. But we figured out if we break it down and teach it better, third graders and fourth graders and fifth graders, and there's one teacher named Hong Lee. She teaches that only in a second grade. Her whole school is second grade. It's in the Cleveland area,
Mm.
and she gets her kids to do these things, the same things. And again, they're 7 and 8 because she's such a great teacher,
Wow.
but she's building skills.
Yeah.
And then, so we go around in the summertime and teach music teachers how to teach this curriculum. So then they take it back to their school.
That is wonderful. That is so wonderful. And I know that you are active in your church. You also do drumming in your church with the Vacation Bible School. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So basically, yeah, Vacation Bible School. And I have a, my church is called Covenant Church of Naples. We have about 1,200 members, so it's not small. And
Yeah.
but again, mentioning 2006, I've been drumming there, and it was small. It was in a different building, and there were no kids.
Oh,
It was one of these churches where and then we figured out, hey, and again, I was just coming in to be honest with you, I was the hired drummer. I wasn't going there necessarily to praise at that time. So
right.
again, this is another way that the Lord
Oh,
used drumming for me.
yes. Yes.
And the
Mm-hmm.
senior pastor tells the story where I would play and I would go back, maybe check on something, and I would just keep moving up the pews until all of a sudden I would just, and I don't he tells this story, I know it's true, but I don't remember it, but it was just the Lord getting me closer to the Word. After a few years, I would just keep getting closer and closer, and people prayed for me that I didn't know, and it was my church family. And now when
Yes.
I say church
Yes.
family, they're just my family.
Yes.
And so I drummed there, and then we started doing VBS. Hey, can you help out? Sure. So I started bringing my drums in
Mm-hmm.
and just drumming for a week, and then I would just drum, but more of the stuff that I was talking about, just to drum.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we ended up doing, I can't even remember when, but we would, of course, be working on a memory verse throughout the week. What was the big idea? What we needed to teach them? Sometimes, depending on the curriculum, there were two or three, but I would always pick. I started picking one Bible verse that we needed to work on, and then just putting drums to it. Now,
Yes.
as you know, some of it comes easy, and it's we would all kind of think of the same thing because it
You're
just
right. Right.
the cadence of the verse.
Uh-huh.
But some of it doesn't. So I would get the kids. I would kind of have an idea, but sometimes I would have no idea. It was nothing was coming to me, and the kids would start saying it, and I would say, "Okay, guys, I'm going to give you 1 minute. Say the words and play and see what you come up with." And they would come up with something that I would never even have thought of, and it
Wow.
worked. So then they would leave, and then I would remember what they did, and then we would just start building. And then by Wednesday, they would have this whole verse to drumming. So again,
Wow.
this is not me, but if you put things to rhythm, you remember it easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
can I show you the John 3:16 that I did this
Oh,
time?
yes. Yes. Please do. Please do.
Okay, so literally I'm in the corner of the church. I have about sometimes 30 drums. Oh, my church ended up buying me a set of drums um, for VBS because we started doing Wednesday nights too. And I said I cannot bring my drums in from my school on
Right.
Wednesdays. So
Yeah.
they took care of me, and they're still there. It's a blessing. So again, not high tech. The last summer, I didn't see the Bible verse because it was a different curriculum, and then I'm like, wait, something says John 3:16. Okay, we all know it, but still. So I wrote it out
Mm.
again in my not so great
Yes.
handwriting, and
Yes.
we started drumming it. Um, and again, I'll just say what we came up with. But this middle section, I had no idea what to do. So, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. And then one girl went, John 3:16.
How about that? Yes.
So she
Absolutely.
said it, and then it was in. So every single time we did it at the very end, like the cha 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 ending, John 3:16, and oh, it just cracked me up. And then what I ended up doing was
How
taking this,
about that?
putting it in my
Wow.
computer, and I told the kids, I go, you look at this. This looks like really hard music because it's 16th notes and all.
Wow.
But
So,
we said it, and they could look at it to remember what it was, even though I think they could figure it out.
mm-hmm.
But I told a couple of them, go home, and if especially if your parents, know musical notes, show them that you know how to play this. I bet you they will be shocked. And then
Yeah.
a couple kids came in the next day, and they said that. They said, yeah, they didn't think I could do it, and I did it
Mm.
right in front of them. And so that's
Ah.
the first thing. And then the second thing is I asked our director if she could make a bunch of copies. So about 150 of these went home with the kids
Wow.
so they could practice it.
Sure.
And my what God told me to do was, hey, um, they can share it. And I said, hey, share it with your neighbors.
Right.
So that the last time I checked, that's what sharing the gospel is, and that's
Yeah.
what we're led to do. So to me, that was my aha moment of how can I
Mm-hmm.
use drumming and
Yes.
my the talents that God gave me for His glory.
Yes. And
And I,
how you're using it, how he's working through you to through drumming to
yes,
spread his word.
yes, and
That is
that's it. And that is where I need to keep my mind, like literally, that's it.
right.
Do I
Right.
forget that daily? Yes. But then something, the Holy Spirit hits me and it's like, dude, this is, I'm giving
Yeah,
it to you.
absolutely. That should be our focus. Every day we need to renew that focus, don't we? Well,
Uh,
Chad, I have a short video you sent of your VBS kids drumming. If I can get this on. Woo! All right. All right. That is amazing. That's amazing. And all those kids just uh, so precise, with their drumming. Gracious.
and, and again, I had only worked with them for a couple days.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. That's
this,
amazing. That
it,
truly is.
it was pretty
Well,
cool.
well, Chad, we're here on New Year's Eve, so ready to face a new year. So, what's ahead for Chad Craig in 2025?
Well, I'm still going to be teaching elementary music, and 92% of the time, I love my job. It's great. And the other, I need to be, it's a great job, and I'm blessed to be able to work with these kids. And I do have a xylophone club that comes, and they play at a high level. If you join my Facebook page, sometimes I put them on. But those are the kids who want to be there. They come in early, and I just say, "Hey, do this," and they start
Yes.
doing it, and they start playing just like drumming. It's the exact same thing.
Wow.
All of a sudden, and then we do go out and we play in the community, so they can see how they are sharing their talents with others. And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
in, and in a few weeks, I'm going to be. Um, we have our mission moment. Our all the missions that we support in our church are coming to us.
Yes. Yes.
And my xylophone club will be supporting. I think it's called Grace Center. It's a we're going to be playing specifically for them to help
Oh,
them
that's
raise money, and it's an Ethiopian orphanage. And the woman
oh,
who comes to our church, like it's hers.
well,
So
that will be a blessing.
it
Oh,
and it's great for them to know that they can make an impact too. Um,
yes.
I have 3 different workshops I'm teaching this summer.
Woo.
I'll be in the Denver area in the beginning of June. I'll be in Iowa at the end of June. And that's kind of our hub for world music drumming now.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And we're going to do a Naples workshop toward like the third week in July. And we're having some Brazilian drummers come in as um, and then the only thing I need to do is this idea, and even you doing this, and it really makes me want to. I'm about halfway there. I want to have about 12 of these ensembles, just like John 3:16,
Hmm.
and I have about 6 already done, and I'm going to try to get that published. So
Oh,
next next New Year's Eve, I want you to see where I'm at on that, and
oh,
I
I will. I
Hold me
will.
accountable.
I want to continue following you. I saw Chad on Facebook and the kids playing the xylophones and the drumming, and I said, "Wow, this is great!" And so, thank you so much for being my guest, and I'd love to have you back, maybe toward the end of maybe in a year, maybe to
Absolutely.
see how God has used you further in your drumming.
Hold on one second.
Yes.
There's something on the side of my screen.
Oh, look. Hi.
Down here. He
And who
likes.
is this?
Um. This is Leo.
Leo. Hi,
Yeah. We
Leo.
call him PJ too. PJ. So
Well, Leo and Chad, thank you and Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for watching and all during the year, and encourage you to follow Faith in an Ever Changing World and to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we just want to wish you well. Have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from the Lord. Happy New Year again.
thank you.